Well, hello and welcome to my shop, and thank you for coming and spending some time with me today. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be assessing this radio and probably another small radio for repair, so I can make my plans and pick the right projects. Okay, so what do I know about this radio? Nothing more than I carried it in here and noticed the knob is missing. So it's already missing a knob. Emerson, just an AM radio. This is Emerson Radio and Television. Emerson. Okay. Well, something's pretty obvious already. Look at this cord. Holy smokes! This is a bad guy. Does it bend? No, it just crumbles. I'm going to chop that off right now because it's not going to be missed. There we go. Wow. Paint on it. Paint on the cord. I always joke that all good radios have paint spots. There's a paint spot right there. Paint spot there. Good radio. Okay. Well, we're going to have to look inside this for sure. Distributed by the Canadian Fairbanks Morse Company Limited. Head office, Montreal, Quebec. Canadian Fairbanks Morse. There's something else written up in here. To change, I think it probably said to change tubes. Let's see, I'll read it myself. To change tubes, remove screws. Do not disconnect wires. Do not disconnect wires. Move back aside. Move back aside. So there's a couple screws there. Very, very cold today. -1 outside. It's 1 degree now. Maybe a bit warmer in fact. This morning when I got up, -1. So frost warnings here. My cats went outside. 5 minutes later they were back in. Saddened by the change in temperature. Poor guys. Okay. Cut for that. Oh, speak of the devil, one of them is looking at me right now. Shadow. Good cat. Yes, the sun is shining out, so the house is going to warm up, I think. It's 28 degrees in the house this morning. 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, let's pop this radio out. There it is. The speaker looks warped. Looks like it's been repaired. Nope, that's the original seam I'm seeing there. Feel a little bit of warping in it. Or you know what? That's just the dust. It's just shadowing from dust. It's settling. You know, it's going to settle on this part. It's not going to settle on this part of the speaker. That's all that is. Ooh, lots of dust. Qu'est-ce que c'est here? What has happened here? So, still see. This white wire going. Looks like it's been cut off right at the right here. Why would somebody do that? This green wire is leading into the internal part of the coil. Oh, this doesn't look good at all. Oops. Something has happened here. Looks like those have been twisted together. I don't know what's going on there. So there's another wire coming from the coil here. It's going right over to the tuning capacitor. Okay, little problems there. Underneath, what do we find? Something is growing under here. So this black wire that's coming from this capacitor. Oops. You see, it's got stuff growing on it. Yeah. Well, this is certainly a replacement. Look at this. Look at this. Can you see? This is as bad as I would do. The wires just soldered up on the tip, and they've left all this wire there. Same thing on this one. They couldn't take the time to trim this a little bit. This could be a professional repair done in a shop. Fast. This is a replacement. Here's an integrated circuit, or to use a different name for it back then. This can be a problem. So 1, 2, 3 large capacitors. They look good, but one's been replaced. Is that the one on the output tube? It is. So this is the output tube here. This guy's been replaced. Probably the grid blocking capacitor. Is this going to hum or not? We don't really know until we try it. Very typical 5-tube radio. A lot of dirt and dust. I think I'm going to remove the dirt and dust. I say, there's a sheet of asbestos in there. What the heck for? You see it right there? Just a little sheet. You can see the edge of it down here. Oh, what's it doing? Why would they do that? Oh, you can see it underneath here. Is there more of it? You can see it right in here. Well, I've never seen that before. Why would they do that? Why would they stick asbestos there? And then it's caught right under the screws here to deflect heat. Well, it looks like there's no heat generation. There should be no heat generation under here of any significance. Why? So they think the speaker's going to catch fire and they're trying to protect the radio? Here's a light bulb. Kind of hidden down there. And the string is a little complicated. Oh, it's got to get up and move the pointer. Looks like 2 strings. 2 separate strings. So we got one driving the tuning wheel and the other one driving the dancing pointer. Dancing pointer. Asbestos sheet. Broken antenna. Very dusty. Got its tubes. Missing a knob. Probably needs a capacitor. Maybe not. May actually work in this condition. Well, with the antenna sorted out, whatever that might be. May actually work. I personally own this radio. I acquired it, not very intentionally, but I did. Okay, so it looks to me like this would rank in the nothing surprising here, except the deal with the antenna is a little weird. That's a situation with this one. Hey, I'm going to get another radio. We're going to assess another radio. So this was the Emerson. Nothing special going on. It has a nice cabinet. It's actually, if this were cleaned up, it would look pretty nice. Right now, like the dust is distracting your eye all over the place. But this would stand out. The paint is very good along here. It's kind of neat. That's looking good. This whole thing can go right in. Well, it's got some kind of cardboard here. Why did they do this? It's riveted, or yeah, it looks like some kind of attachment. There's 5 of them too. 5 places. Why would they do that? Very odd shape to this piece of cardboard too. It's got a thing here and a hole there. I don't know what exactly they're doing with that. Trying to catch the light, and it doesn't look like something you would do with a light. What would you do? Light it? You wouldn't want to light this up. You want to restrict the light right in this area. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, Mr. Emerson. Just jump back in there. And I'm going to go get your brother. Let's see, they've got another radio that's very similar. We'll take a look at that one too. Okay, here we go. This one's a Spartan. A Spartan. Cord looks serviceable. Probably replaced. For external antenna over 30 feet long. This would be the antenna. This must be the ground. External antenna connection if required. But there's two connectors and two nodes. Neither says ground here. Interesting. Model 5049, 32 volt amps. A patented Canadian radio patent. Spartan of Canada, London. This is made in London, Canada. Disconnect supply cord before opening. It's kind of whitish here. It's white. This has been painted. This is a white radio got painted brown. Could have been painted in the factory possibly. That's what all this is. This is not dirt in here. This is flaking paint. Yeah, right in front, Jim, where everyone can see it. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me take a little closer look at that. That white stuff, powder that has built up on it. No, it very much looks like the paint is coming away. Get my knife here. What are we using today? We're using the more Sweden. We're using the Swedish knife. Just a little bit of trouble holding everything here. Oh, look, they built this knife upside down. They put the sharp edge on the top. That is Swedish people. They're flaking off the brown paint or the white stuff. Looks like it's on the surface. Yeah. So was this on like a bakery or something, and there was flour flying around? How did it get to look like this? Yeah, definitely. Okay, don't poke anymore. So the cabinet, I think the cabinet could be made to look pretty good. It's Bakelite. Very similar to the other radio we were just looking at, the color-wise. Okay, maybe we'll use the close-up camera in a moment too. Okie dokie, Spartan. There's the pointer. It moves. off. Any secret notes here? No. We got two screws here. And got some rivets coming through all over the place. There's missing screws here, right on the outside here. So these are probably holding the antenna, the back plate, the antenna. You can see the parts of the antenna right here. So, and then underneath, nothing. So the two screws that are holding this in appear to be missing. Actually, be 4 screws. There's one in every corner. They're gone. So this radio is ready to drop out, even with this fancy, very fancy job somebody did on there. Look at that. That's beautiful, right? That is how you want your knobs to look. Okay, just push it out. Yep. There it goes. Inside, you can see an awful lot of white overspray all over it. It just makes for a mystery as to why. Okay, just stick them over here. Actually, the colors are slightly different. Can you see that in the camera? Not particularly well. This is a little darker than that. All Bakelite, I'm sure. Okay, what do we see here? So, it's not covered in dust. Dust on the lower part of the speaker again. Take off this very fancy knob. Place it where it should go. In the garbage. Here's a ground lug stuck onto the chassis, heading for the antenna. Here's the other coming back. What is this thing? What has happened here? Time for coffee. Okay, a little coffee has done the trick. Let's take a look through that other camera there. What is going on here? What have they done? There must be a story behind this. So, why the external one? What happened to this one? The top part. Well, I'm trying to determine if there ever was one there. It may not have been. This may have been a factory thing. Kind of weird how it's done here. It's popped right off. Or it's somebody's replacement. Somebody has done this. You would guess because the original one was missing. Now usually when something like this is missing, there's another way to make the adjustment or to trim this or to do something somewhere. Where exactly would that be? I don't know. It seems a little weird that somebody would add that. I'm looking for broken wires or any other weird stuff going on. Well, it's been yanked around, that's for sure, but looks like it's basically intact. Okay. And the light bulb here is a 120 volt light bulb. Got a little piece of paper here. And its job is to, I guess, just kind of diffuse the light. Wow, that's a long ways from the bulb down into here. Is there another bulb? They put two in, one on each side. Too cheap for that. One bulb. Okay, and we have the string arrangement here, which looks like it's in good shape, pretty good shape. Pretty dirty. Yeah, I think it's just dirt. Okay, and the capacitor fins bent out. No, doesn't look like it. Okay, because an alternative to doing this is bending these plates a bit. No, a trimmer here, this just adds capacitance. You can bend these plates. The easiest thing to do is to reduce capacitance. So now we've got 5 tubes across the back, 3 metal ones. 2 of them have tape on them with something written on it. Huh? What's that say? Huh? And this one says, I'll have to pull it out maybe to read that. Secret message. Myrrh. Huh? And the lower word is, I'll have to pull this tube out. Some special message. Then we have the output tube and the rectifier tube. They look pretty similar to kind of style or size of tube. This is the rectifier tube, 35Z5, and this is probably a 50 L6 here. Did we see a tube chart anywhere? I don't think so. But we can guess. We don't have to guess. 12 SA7, and this is probably a 12 BA6. And this is probably a 12 AT6. Let's pull this out. I'm so curious about the what the message is on those tubes. Merit, replace. What? What is the what's the secret code here? Merit. What is that? Replace. I don't know what that is. SQ7. Well, clearly this has been these tubes have been replaced. They didn't come from the tube manufacturer with this tape on them. What's this one say here? It says "Ka." What? Ka. Isn't that the Star Trek language? Question mark. Well, I can get onto I can sort of follow the question mark. What's going on here? Well, this radio, we haven't looked underneath yet. Well, I'll keep this. It's got a metal plate. It's got a metal plate. I'm going to have to remove it. Looks like a green Roberts. Mixing up stuff here. So these screws go with this radio here, and I'm out of screw cups. Oh no, I'll have to use a screw cup. Oh, there's one there. three radios in pieces. I'm liable to mix it up. Maybe I can mix 3 radios into one super radio. Super bad radio. Nothing. Oh, some notes in here. 6K6. Pin 8. Pin 4, 6K6. Pin 8, 3524. Negative. Is this tape? This is on top of some writing. That's a little weird. A weird place to put notes. Something is dripping out of something. So this was, I don't know, was it this way or was it this way? I'd say it was this way, and this material could be dripping out of this capacitor here. So looking now for anything that's been changed around. So here's a weird deal here. This wire, I think, is coming down from the tuning capacitor. Here's another weird deal. It's just not normal to, have a wire come out and solder to a component and just have it laying in there loose like that. And that doesn't look like the original capacitor. There's really no reason why they wouldn't install a capacitor right around here. So this may be a replacement here, because see, the wax capacitors would be typical of that vintage. This is not. Sort of. Not a lot of capacitors in here. Got a big resistor up here. Probably heating up this capacitor a bit. Another big one right here. That's something pretty weird looking right there. What is that? That is a weird looking thing. Let's get the other camera going again. Weird looking things. So here's the connections I was talking about. Just kind of floating here. And then we've got this one back here floating right in the same area. I think any radio manufacturer would cover this bare wire, and he wouldn't have this. Just wouldn't do this. They just wouldn't do this. So that green one's probably a replacement. So when you see 1 or 2 capacitors replaced, but the rest have been left in, that suggests the work was done fairly early in the life of the radio. Now here's this thing here. It certainly is leaking something. So it looks like a 4040. Now we'll turn that into a 4747. And there's the high wattage resistor back in there. Oh, there's a capacitor hidden up under there. Not looking very good on the outside. So I'm asking myself, well, can I plug this guy in? See what it does. There's another bit of a strange thing. So this may be a replacement. What's the other end look like? Oh, it's going to that same terminal again. So this does look like a replacement, or this is a cut. They cut this to see the effect or to perform a test. This is going to ground here. And then they soldered it back. I think that's what I'm seeing here. And doing some kind of testing in here, and then they resolved that this was the capacitor that had to be changed. the story I'm telling. Here's the probably the oscillator coil, probably, but it could be the antenna coil down under the chassis. Is there something up on top? I don't think so. Just, what's up on top is this. This is the coil for the antenna side of things, and there's no other coils in here, so that has to be the oscillator coil. Yes, I just said ya-da-da-da. Some junk leaking out of this. I don't think it's anything of any significance. It might even look like that coming out of the factory. I don't know. Okay, the assessment is we should try turning this guy on. Yeah, get one of these turned on. Why the dry voice today? Well, I guess it's probably dried out in our house a fair bit because it was cold. Okay, so I'm going to be turning on this radio. I have no idea the condition of it. There's a chance there's a fuse blowing short circuit in it. Not much of a chance, but there's a chance. Well, I don't want to blow the fuse, actually pop a breaker open in this house. So I'm going to feed this in a way that will prevent such an occurrence. Plus, I'm feeding these things. This power plug is fed from a isolation transformer. There we go. Nothing should happen because the switch is off on the radio. 118 volts. That's what's here. But it is being fed through. I'm just going to make it one light. Fed through this light bulb. So expect that light to come on bright. There we go. Yeah. See, the light is trying. Looks much brighter in the camera. For me, that's a yellowy orange filament. I can look right at it. But for you, it's just a big ball of glow. Ball of glow. Ball of glow. Okay, so we're at 52 volts, which means the heaters are drawing current. So I'm going to screw in the other light bulb over here. That's going to raise the voltage up to near normal. Now I can't look at this bulb. I'm going to unscrew this bulb so we don't have this blasting away at us. I got 111 volts on here. Okay, what's it do? What do you say, little radio? I say hello. Station's down in this area here. I have no idea how accurate this dial is, so I'm trying to, there's a particular interference sound that I can recognize. I don't hear it. Well, great thing is, with the radio working this well, which you might say it's not working well at all. Well, it is actually. It's making sound out of the speaker. Tubes are all lighting up. There's no blaring hum. When I tune, it's doing stuff. This is disconnected. That's why this is not tuning in the right range. Okay, so do I dare just push it back with my finger? I'm going to use something maybe a little more careful. Okay. Oh, you know, I could put a clip lead on that. Let's hold it down. Okay, holding it down. Well, there's the noise I was looking for. Okay. Okay, definitely this one is definitely up for repair. Missing knobs is not a big deal. I can find some knobs for it. It's probably going to clean up fairly nice too, I'm going to guess. Not bad otherwise. Wow, should we take a look at a third radio? No, not right away. I should drink some more coffee. Okay, why don't we look at one more radio. Okay, this one I do not own. What a mess this one is. Look at the top of it there. But you know, this can clean up pretty good. In some cases, wonderfully. In fact, I go from looking like a horror story to looking quite nice. And this one has that potential for sure. Got its knobs. I don't think it's cracked. Feels like plastic. Doesn't feel like Bakelite. But could be. It's the right color for Bakelite. Has a bit of a Bakelite look to it. So screw and a screw. Another one back there. Teletone. Well, there's something obviously missing in this radio right away. There's no tubes in it. Oh, there's one tube back there. So the guy who stole the tubes didn't see the one back there. He missed his chance. It's got a wire antenna here. It's got a power cord, but I don't think you can plug this one in. So, well, you know, okay, so there's an indication here. Power cord cut off, although surprising they didn't cut it off right tight to the radio. That's the usual thing. Sometimes that's done to make sure nobody will plug this radio in again. That's what the thinking is behind it. Tubes gone because this radio is worth nothing and I want the tubes in another radio. So there's a cardboard piece here. This is just the bottom of it. It's been torn off, so there was a cardboard backing here. I hate to say there's a good chance there was an antenna on it. Now this long wire antenna sure seems like it could be original. It's coming through. There's a protective cover on it right in here because it's coming through this hole. So maybe there was no antenna. I'm looking to see if there's any connections. This coil appears to be connected directly to the tuning capacitor there. I think there was not a loop antenna on this. Wait a minute, there's only one transformer here. Where's the other one? There's almost always two of these guys. How can there be just one? Well, maybe it's underneath. I've seen that, I think. In one case. Let's see what's up here. So I do not own this radio. This is another one of these store radios. I had mentioned I fix up radios for a couple that run a store in Toronto. And I mean, this radio were to be sold, it's going to sell for $40, something like that. Not a lot of money, so there's really, the economics of this is terrible. You put these tubes in, $10, $20 a tube, so $20, $40, $60 already spent on tubes. Wait a minute, there's only 4 tubes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how's this rectifying things? Where's the rectifier? Where's the other IF can? Okay, we can take this off here. Take the screws out. There we go. Come out, little radio. Yeah, it really feels like plastic. Stiff as can be here. Don't touch them. Well, that's not the best thing to do, but passed the throw test. Oh, look at my fingers. It's a real dirty guy. Okay, what's happening under here? Here's a coil. A little unusual looking. Antenna. Yeah, the antenna just comes up and connects here. Yeah, I don't think there ever was a loop antenna. So now what about the 1 IF transformer? This is like the worst radio ever made. Wow. Wait a minute now. Wait. Hold on a second. Here's another. So we got a coil here, and we got the coil here. One of these is probably the oscillator coil. And obviously the antenna I already noticed was connected to this one. So this will be the oscillator coil. Almost looks like there's an adjustment. You would expect there to be adjustments. Here they are here. 1 IF transformer. I don't know if I've ever seen a radio with just one. I kind of didn't think you could even get away with just one. I'm looking at this trying to spot the second one. It's not showing up. Not at all. Well, this coil is not adjustable. This one isn't either, but these are the trimmers related to that. Well, the chance of this radio working well, I think, is very low. I would like to look at the schematic for it. What radio is it? It's a Teletone. Teletone doesn't sound like the manufacturer's name to me. Model number, and there's nothing. Serial number and nothing. Uh-oh. I need a hint. Give me a hint. Who made this radio? Even with just a hint, I can find it. You can search some places by the photograph, like a radio museum. You can just put in your search term and look at photographs after that of radios. That's how you can find them. Well, I don't see anything here that's telling me who made this thing. You know what? They were not proud. They kept their name secret. They don't want anybody to know we're the ones that made this thing. Come on, somewhere, anywhere. Oh, no, it's on the other radio. I've looked at too many radios this morning. Well, maybe Teletone is a manufacturer I'm just not aware of. Okay, I'm going to stop and see what I can find in terms of a schematic. And just see if we can find the single IF radio schematic somewhere. I think I said something about, you can easily just look through some photographs and find the radio you're after. So I'm doing that. This is Radio Museum. I typed in the manufacturer as Teletone. Yes, Teletone was an American manufacturer. And look, they made all these different radios. So I'm looking down through here for one that looks like the one I have. Now the one I have has a round dial knob, like this one right here. It looks just like this one. It looks like this one. Okay, but it also looks like this one. It also looks like this one, and this one, and this one. it looks like all these different radios. There's only 2 pages. Let's go to page 2, see if there's even more. So this one's similar, but the wrong color. That's 1953. Let's go back. Now, there's some telltale signs in some of these pictures. Like this one. Okay, so you see the name is clearly written right there. It's hard to see, but it has these bands running across it. Same as the radio I have. So this one looks almost the same, except you can see these vertical risers here in the picture. And they don't exist on the radio I have. So it's not this one. So it could be this one. 1949, and then up here, 1948. 1949. Now probably it's the same radio inside. Here's another one. Got the name. Got the pieces. And wait a minute. This dial looks different. Like here, this looks like the dial is a plastic piece on top that would turn. This one looks the same way. It looks like a plastic piece, like a clear plastic piece. Maybe they're shining a light through at the top here. Well, no, it's still got a little pointer nub in there. Is there more of these? No, that was it. It's one of these. One of these. How am I going to figure out which one of these it is? Well, I've eliminated one of them. It can't be this one. So I'm going to start by looking at, this is early 1948. This is 1949. And this is 1949, and this is 49. There's a chassis here, a 205, a 215, a 195, and a 165. There's nothing on here to indicate such numbers. And I noticed anyway. Well, let's take a look at this one. Early. Let's better look at it. So this is not, look at this. You can see the, it's bakelite. And I'm suggesting what I've got here is not bakelite. I could be wrong. It's very thin. So one of the ways to tell is to put some water on it and smell it, because it has a particular smell to it. Wow, if mine cleaned up and looked like this, that would be nice. That would be really nice. Is there anything over here that's going to give us a hint? Anything going to give us a hint here? Look at these other pictures. Teletone. Oh, okay, here's a hint. The words here are in straight up print. But on my radio, it's in script or handwriting. Doesn't look like that. Go back. So it looks like that. So they got 2 different radios here. That's what mine looks like, as writing like that. Okay, let's go right back to the list. Okay, this one has the same kind of writing, but I've eliminated it because of these vertical risers. This looks like it has the same writing, this one too. Fluey on that, this one too. They all have this script style writing. But this has this plate. We eliminate those two. So either this one, it's got to be this one, or this one. Now this one, is this one by a plastic case by some chance? Yeah, and I see it doesn't have that look of being, I think this is probably the radio I have right here. Wow, this is a beautiful looking radio. This picture looks brand new. Fantastic. Oh, here in the back. Oh, yeah, we can compare the back. Well, there's the one thing. Well, this matches identically the radio I have in front of me. Wait a minute. No, it doesn't. No. You can't fit these big tubes into the radio I have. You can only fit these small ones. The radio I have is looking for two small tubes in here, like this. Okay, so we can eliminate this one. This is not it. Now we'll go back to that first one. This one. Does it have a picture? Doesn't it? See, it doesn't have a picture of the back. Or does it? No, it doesn't. Yes, right here. Okay, so take out. Okay, I have to mumble a fair bit, apparently. So here we are. 50B5. So does that come in a small glass tube? Or is it just the big octal tubes? I don't hear the answer. No one's answering this question. I don't think you can get a 35W4 in one of those big tubes. Of course, there's no tubes in this radio, so I don't even know what tubes are supposed to go in there, but I'm just guessing. And what happened to the rectifier? That's a rectifier. That's the output amplifier. That's the detector. That's the mixer. Hank? You have to go and get a guy named Hank to come in and help you with it? Okay, which one is it? Now they've drawn this as if it's, again, not plastic, though you can see the outline of the material, the bakelite. Well, it's stuck here. Is there information on the... Let's look at this. Here, for the first time, we can get a look at the... how does this work with one... There's nothing to this radio. Okay, nothing odd. So here it is. So we come in off a wire antenna, go into a antenna transformer we saw. This is the oscillator area down here. It goes in the mixer tube. It's 1 IF. It comes out of the 1 IF and into the detector tube. So, wow, there's a whole amplification stage missing. There's no amplification stage, and it's looking for a long wire antenna. This has got to be one crappy radio, I would think. I've seen a lot of radios. They have a tube in the middle here. 12BA6 does most of the gain of the radio. It's missing in here completely. Well, it might be interesting to see, how does a radio like this work? How well does it work? But really, maybe if you had this brand new out of the factory and another one brand new out of the factory, you could compare them. But at this point in their lives, I don't know if I ever make any radios work like they did when they came out of the factory. Although I'd like to think I make some of them work better. So wait a minute, what's going on here? We got 3 tubes. 4. So here's a different version with the extra tube. But they still didn't put in the extra transformer. Instead, they've done a connection here. They just use a capacitor style connection, trying their best to avoid using another coil. This would be a little bit of a better radio. Model 148. Well, okay, I think I've seen enough of this. Okay, so I've looked at 3 radios. All of them are in varying states. One of them is probably the easiest one to get working well. The second one I looked at. First one had the weird antenna problems, a couple other minor things, and this one's missing its tubes. And but I'll probably sort out the situation with every one of these, all 3 of these radios. The question is, do I want to? Do I even want to? That's a good question. I'm going to keep that floating around in my head. Tomorrow, if I'm in here tomorrow, depends on the weather again. If the weather's really good, I'm going to be outside. I'll certainly pick one of these 3, probably the middle one, carry on with and get it working, and then just proceed. From there, I decide what to do. 3 little radios, all in need of attention. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you enjoy your day. See ya.